Hello everyone, welcome back to Vandrefalk's channel here on YouTube. The mountain you can see over there is called Langeberg. That's where I did my Hilleberg DAC 1.5 review. And today we are reviewing the Fjällräven, or Fjällräven as we say here, Abisko Dome 2. Now this is a fairly huge tent compared to the DAC, obviously. And this is a very large two-person tent. This is the second door in the rain cover that I was showing you on top there. Let's just take another tour around the tent. I'm doing the voiceover in post-production because of the strong wind that was hitting me while I was doing the review in one take. As you can see, I've just edited it down slightly. There's one of the ventilation ports there that's been pegged out. I do not have the guy lines out. It was standing actually quite fine with the about 10 pegs that are into the ground as of right now, if you count the 4 for the ventilation. Now let's head into the tent itself. The doors are sealed with a sort of flap over where the zipper are for cover from the rain, and it's also velcroed at the bottom for so that it stays on. It's not been a problem so far. You can roll it back all the way. You can open the door all the way up, and you can just fasten it with 2 toggles there that just slide down. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but it is feasible. You can, as I said, you just do that with both hands, and then there's also a halfway roll-up mode that I will show you in a little bit. So there we are. Both of the toggles are fastened there. Here you can see the inner tent. It is a dual-walled tent, which means that it has 2 walls. And the design of this is quite handy. You raise the tent in its entirety at once, just like Hilleberg tents and many other manufacturers do. And as you can see, even if there is a strong wind there, about 8 or 9 meters per second, which is strong, it's not hurricane or anything, but it's strong. It's relatively strong. And it's not touching the inner tent at all, which is really good when you want the inner tent to stay dry. At top here, beneath the rain cover you saw at the beginning of the video, there are 2 fabric flaps that you can zipper down, and you can roll them up like this. There's a toggle up there that you can fasten down, and then there's the mesh that still goes through. So when the tent is in ventilation mode and the doors are closed or open, but when they are closed, you can still have side ventilation through mesh. It creates a chimney effect, which leads the ventilation going up and up to the rain cover, and then it just trails down onto that. But that's on the outside of the tent. So very good. The inner tent also has 2 doors. There are 2 entrances into the tent and 2 exits, depending on how you want to phrase that. But the doors themselves also have 2 layers. The outside, which is where you would go into the inner tent, has mesh, and on the inside there's also a fabric covered door, which has a separate zipper that you can take apart and only have mesh, which gives you even more ventilation. Great stuff. There are side pockets there, as you can see. There are 4 of those, and then on top there is a gear loft. Very handy for storing things, for even drying clothes, for not heavily wet clothes, but you can put your socks up there, no problem. I've had my flashlights up there facing down or up, depending on how I want to light the inner tent. You have ventilations on the side here, separate from those on the outside, but they are in the same spot, meaning you get ventilation all the way through. You can have the tent fabric covering it. If you want less ventilation, you can have the mesh if you want to keep the bugs out but still have some ventilation, or you can do both of the zippers and have it completely open. That's totally up to you. This is a 4-season tent. It weighs about 3.1 kilos. If you have everything included, you can get it down to about 2.8, which is still slightly heavy, but to me it doesn't matter at all. It's a great tent. It's a strong tent. It's a very stable tent in the wind, in the rain. I don't have the footprint for the tent, but the bottom of the tent here, as you can see, it takes about 6,000 millimeters of water pressure, which is really high. The footprints, which are even more durable, take about 10,000. So we'll see. That covers the entire space of the inner tent. And make no mistake, this tent is huge. The first time I put this up was when me and a friend was hiking in one of the nearby mountains here, just a quick hour drive away from here. We wanted to try a new spot, and because we'd never camped there before. And he put up his one-man MSR Hubba, whatever version it was, and I'd never put up this tent before. I've only seen pictures and videos about it, and I was so excited to try it out. He put this up, and it's huge, but I love it. At the end of each door, as you can see here, there is a tiny toggle. You put this on the inside of the outer tent, and there's a toggle up there. It's kind of hard to do with one hand when I'm holding the phone as well, but there's a toggle up there, and you attach it. Just give it a second. The door's gonna blow right out of my hands because of the wind. But you attach it up there, and when you do, you pull the zipper down, and the door will stay about halfway open, which creates great ventilation, and it still gives you some cover for if it's raining or if it's really bad outside. It still gives you cover, but great ventilation. And I've done this when I've been cooking. Reason I've done this is you want great ventilation when you're cooking, or as much as you can, and you don't want to cook near fabric, even though the fabric is flame retardant. So this actual space, the specifications, the fabrics and everything, I'll put that in the description, but let me just tell you, the tent is fantastic. It can handle so much weather, whatever you throw at it. It's great for 2 people, it's amazing for 1 person, though in really, really strong wind, it can be a bit of a hassle to put up on your own. I would say that the Hilleberg, Steiker, Alak, and Zulu have a bit of an advantage there because you put them up with the clips that you just put on instead of having the poles going through pieces of fabric all the way through. They don't go through fabric where they cross at the top beneath the rain cover, but you know, as soon as you get one of the poles up, you put all 3 of them in and you stake 3 corners and everything. Once you get a hang of it, it's really easy. It's huge, it's great, it's just magnificent. Would I recommend it? Yes. Can you afford it? Buy it. I love it. I cannot wait to try this tent anymore. If you have any questions, just go right to the comment section. Ask me whatever you want. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to respond to your comments. I'd love to do even more of these kinds of reviews. So bring it. See you in the next video.